Want to keep up with the latest LEGO Mega 96.1 videos? Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Hello everyone, LEGO Mega 96.1 here with another video. And welcome back to another On This Day in History. It was on this day in history on August 8th of 2014. Five Nights at Freddy's, the first game, was released to the public. Now, I did a review of Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, on my channel, which I'll put a link to it in the description below so you can see it. But, I'm sorry. But for me in particular, I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game before. I mean, the only Five Nights at Freddy's game I played was the sequel called Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is actually a prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's. I know it sounds confusing, but once you play the game and understand the lore of the game, as well as the books, and even the movie, you'll understand. Now, I know this much on Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I've never played the games before, and I've never read the books, but I've seen a couple Let's Play these of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I've seen people diving into the lore of the game. And I'm gonna go over the history of that game right now. If I messed up something, if I got the names wrong or the events wrong, I apologize in advance, and I assure you it will never happen again. With all that in mind, let's go on. Now, in the game Five Nights at Freddy's, his franchise, or FNAF, or whatever you want to call it, there were these two men, William Henry and William Afton. Two Williams. They created a pizza place called Fazbear's Friendly Diner. It starred two animatronic figures named Fazbear, Freddy Fazbear, and Spring Bonnie. Now these were the suits here, or that showed what they look like. Now there was this kid named Evan Afton, who was the youngest son of William Afton. He was terrified of those things because in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, William's son Evan had nightmares of those things because he said those things would kill him. Which, if you remember the Let's Play of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the animatronic figures, there's of Golden Freddy, Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie. Granted, they did look terrifying, but in gaming designs, they look spectacular. So it was on his birthday at Fazbear's Friendly Diner, that Michael's oldest son, Michael Afton, or William Afton's son, my mistake, that at Evan's birthday party at Fazbear's Friendly Diner, William's oldest son, Michael Afton, decided to teach Evan a lesson. And by teach him a lesson, I mean pull a prank. Because if you remember in the 8-bit cutscenes or plays of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we see how Michael treats his brother. I mean, granted, it's a joke at all, but sometimes jokes can go a bit too far, as I'm about to tell you here. Basically, what happened was in the game, Michael and several of his friends pick up Evan and they took him to one of the animatronic figures. Now, Evan begged Michael not to do it. But if you remember from the cutscene in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Michael and his friends put Evan in in the mouth of the animatronic figure, and all of a sudden, boom, the mouth bites down on Evan. Now, you may remember this scene from Markiplier. Was that the bite of 87? Technically, it's the bite of 1983. The bite of 87's 4 years later, at a place called Circus Baby's Pizza. And yeah, that's that meme is kind of funny, to tell you the truth. But overall, it's still pretty funny. The meme, not the offend, is tragic. So Evan was rushed to the hospital, and Fazbear's Friendly Diner was closed pending investigation. But sadly, at the hospital, Evan died, right, and Michael was arrested for manslaughter. And this snapped William. Now, the reason why the animatronic did that, well, it all has to do with spring locks, the system the animatronics used in the game, and there are spring locks that are used was in real life as well. Now, did these things kill people? We don't know. So basically, William snapped, and he decided to get revenge. In other words, so what he did, he took the Spring Bonnie suit, to which he made a spring lock suit he wore him that is wearable, and he would use it to attack. Now, if you saw the 8-bit play sequence of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we see William Afton killing Charlotte Emily, which is the daughter of William Henry. And this sparked him to go on a killing rampage because in the game, William wore the spring bodysuit and he would lure kids to the back room where he would kill them. And to cover up his tracks, he stuffed the corpses of the dead kids in the animatronic suits. Basically, he stuffed them in the animatronic suits of Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie, and to cover up his tracks. Now, this happened in the second game and even in the third game. Not third game, first game. And unfortunately, when William did come back to Five Nights at Freddy's, he's in the game Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which he opened. He went back and he dismembered the animatronics, but he was chased by the ghosts of the kids that he killed. And it lured him into the back room where he put on the spring body suit. But due to the moisture in the room, the spring locks locked on, and unfortunately, William tried to get it off, but unfortunately, he was not fast enough, and William died in the spring lock suit. And he was trapped in the suit and in the room for 30 years. Though how he survived, it still baffled me. He's giving the Frankenstein monster a run for his money. But in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, William did indeed survive, and he was used as basically as a prop for the show called Fazbear's Fright, which was going to be a walk around horror maze type attraction. Which, if you remember from when the Eagles did this or when the Patriots did this, basically at a football stadium, that's basically it. Now, either this happened in the third game or sometime after the third game. Michael Afton traveled to Fazbear's Fright, where he confronts his father, and he burns the place down, and also killing William in the process. And that would be the end of William Afton. Though in later games, William did indeed survive, which if you played Five Nights at Freddy, the security breach, there's another ending where you have to survive William Afton as Burn Trap, which somewhat baffled me. We saw William Afton die, right? So how in the hell can he survive? Was there something he learned while he was wearing the spring bodysuit? We don't know. But yeah, that's basically it on the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. And ever since the first release of the first movie, or not first movie, first game, Five Nights at Freddy's, he became an instant hit and would spawn multiple sequels and spin-off games, toys, shirts, and even a couple of books. And it was even adapted in a movie done by Universal. And yes, I did see myself on a streaming service called Peacock, and I love it. It was a really good movie, and they added so much lore to the game and even added a few Easter eggs and references to the first game. And yes, and even a YouTuber named Corey X Kenjin, to which I subscribe to, he appeared as a cab driver in the movie. In which, in some behind the scenes photos, which I saw like a couple years ago, not a couple years ago, a couple months ago, a picture of Markiplier was there as a employee. But now, mind you, the wall you see there with all the employees, those were all the YouTubers who played the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. Although nothing can compare to Markiplier's game, because after all, Markiplier is the king of Five Nights at Freddy's. What? I didn't say that right? Oh, my invisible producer, or to make the joke more accurate, said I didn't get the sounding right. And so I'm gonna try it again. After all, Markiplier is the king of Five Nights at Freddy's. But overall, the franchise itself is really good. And a little heads up, I did make a gaming channel to which I posted a couple videos that which I made on my main channel. Well, all has to do with games, and I posted it on my gaming channel. Now, many of you are wondering, will I play Five Nights at Freddy's? I will eventually. Now, again, I'm going to tell you right here, I've only played Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I haven't played the first game, or the third, or the fourth, or the sister location, or even the virtual reality games of Help Wanted VR. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't have a virtual reality set. But will I do play Five Nights at Freddy's when I do get a chance? I will eventually. I just got to save up a lot of this. In other words, I got to save up a lot of dollars. Lots of them. But overall, the franchise itself is really good. When so much lore was added and even a few more contents were added to the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Now, if you haven't played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, all has to do with all the FNAF games or sister location or even a virtual reality set, go check it out. It's really good. And speaking of YouTubers, as I said earlier, many famous YouTubers that I subscribe to, they played the game. Like Corey X Kenjin, as I said earlier, played the game. Markiplier played the game. Jacksepticeye, Bijou Mike, and several other YouTubers. Now, again, I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. I've only played the sequel. Well, that's the only Five Nights at Freddy's game I played up until that point. Now, will I play more Five Nights at Freddy's games? I will eventually. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. And what are your thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's gaming franchise? And what are your thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? please tell me in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your opinions on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. And that concludes today's video. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, including the many other videos that I've done on my channel, well, please feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell notification so that way you can be notified when I upload the next video. And as always, this is Lego Maker 96-1 signing. What was that? Hello? Excuse me for a second. Hello? If this is a joke, this isn't funny. Joke's over. Come on out. If you don't leave, I'm calling the cops. Hello?
You look down.
What the?
That sure was fun.